Camelot 331 here, and here we are. We're back to the illustrious Egg and his evil ways. A story that many people will relate to and will not believe the ending of. So stay tuned until the end. So do me a favor, leave a like on the video if you enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. It helps me out a bunch. So let's get into the Egg. So when I was a third key at GameStop and working under Egg, he had a very distinct hiring pattern that we all knew really well. He only hired shady friends that he had and females who he deemed worthy. I honestly don't know how I made it on the team. I was a friend of one of the managers prior to when Egg started, so that's kind of how I got my way in. And I had unknowingly stepped into the hellmouth without realizing it. You see these wrinkles on this face? The single gray beard hair I have? It's all Egg's fault, man. So as you're aware, GameStop's pretty much ran by corporate slaves and neckbeards as managers. And what does neckbeards do when they have the power of the hiring, the power of the hire? What do? They hire females that they find attractive so they can gaze at all day and act inappropriate against, basically. And Egg was no stranger to this practice. He was pretty much the leader of the trend. So one day we had this girl apply. And she was extremely witty and smart, and she was extremely good at her job as well. The description, like subs, reserves, that kind of thing. She could sell them, man. She could sell anything. But Egg hired her for other reasons. Reasons we're going to get into. Also, keep in mind she was 16 when she was hired here. Egg was in his late 30s, if that gives you some context. But what do you expect? It's Egg, man. It's Egg. The same Egg that passed out on the floor intoxicated for hours one day and just didn't help customers. Not a single one. He just laid there passed out like a big old round seal boy. One of the ones that look like a yeast roll. But that's a story for another day. So the girl he hired, we're going to call her Melissa. He scheduled her to only work with him every single day, no other manager. So this goes on and on for about 6 months. We all pretty much became really good friends with Melissa. She was part of the family, man. Like the little family that you have when you're working there. That excludes the store manager usually. The little family. We were the family. But one day, I worked with her and she was extremely quiet. Directly after working with Egg the prior day. I kept prying at her and she was kind of afraid to tell me because she was embarrassed and she was afraid she was going to get in trouble for, I guess, what she had to say. And I'm thinking to myself, with my brain juice, that if something is legitimately wrong, then you'll be okay, right? You're not going to get in trouble, right? GameStop? Well, I convinced her to tell me what was going on and that I would just basically keep it between us. And then she just let it all out. She kind of told me everything right there. She begins to tell me all these things about Egg. Basically what he says to her on a daily basis, and also like what he does physically on a daily basis with her. She tells me he comments on her outfit every day, if you know what I'm saying, as well as her assets every single day. Telling her to wear basically more revealing stuff for him. Under the guise of, oh, you should wear more revealing stuff so we sell more stuff. When in actuality, it was he just wanted to see it. She said that he would intentionally throw something on the floor and demand that she pick it up so he can basically watch her bend over and pick it up. Which I actually saw once ever, and it weirded me out, but I didn't really think of anything of it. And this is before she actually told me. So it was basically confirmed right there. It was confirmed, man. She confirmed it. Egg is been confirmed. She also added that when she bent down, she could hear like Egg grunting in the background. Like grunting while she picked it up. Now, if you knew Egg personally, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Because I know exactly what she's talking about in this situation. I can hear it, man. I can literally hear it. And I'll give you the best impression that I have. He would always say things like, oh yeah, oh yeah, ooh, like that, in this weird ass rhythm, like song thing. Every time he would see a chick that he liked do anything provocative, he would do that. Ooh, yeah, oh, and he'd be like sweating. Oh, dude, it was terrible. I remember these things. It's crazy, man. Keep in mind that this was like a 500-pound guy in his late 30s. Okay? Keep that in mind. That's very important. But was this all he did? No. Not even close, man. She said he would come up behind her and like wrap his arms around her, like on the counter, so she was kind of locked in. And let me tell you, his space is all the space. Okay? You basically become one with his gut. You're basically Quado from Total Recall. That's you now. Now I know you're asking yourself this, because you're putting yourself in this situation. Why is she agreeing to do these things? 1, she's 16 years old. He's a figure of authority. 2, this is her dream job. She told us several times this was her dream job. She wanted to be a store manager. She wanted to make a career out of it. So she basically thought she had to do these things. And when it's your first job and you're that age, when people tell you to do things that are out of the ordinary, you don't initially know they're out of the ordinary. When you're 16, it really took everything she had to tell me these things. And at this time, we had basically become like really close friends. I was friends with her and her boyfriend at the time. So I tell her we need to go directly to the DM and then, if need be, to the RD. I thought, finally, we can get Egg out of here. You can see how excited I am. I'm bouncing right now. And this is after the fact. We can finally get Egg out of here. We can move on. Oh, how wrong I was. I've said this before. Finally, he's gone. Oh, how wrong I was. So I took lead. We got a few people to confirm her story with us and basically contacted the DM directly. Yes, the same DM, the same guy, that damn guy. The same guy. He acted completely outraged when he heard it. He said he would get on it right away and that he would have a serious discussion with Egg. A serious discussion. It's so damn serious. So we assumed that we were covered and it was taken care of. We were scot-free, man. We were good to go. A few days passed. Nothing happened. Okay, so you're starting to wonder, what the hell's going on, man? A few days passed. I'm wondering. I'm worried. I'm sweating beads, man. You can see the vein. I don't have a vein. If it was there, you would see it. Then we finally hear some news about it. Egg apparently had talked to, his shady friends that worked at the store, and they told us that him and the DM were basically laughing on the phone about the situation. And Egg commented on how attractive the girl was, and the DM kept calling him a playa. A playa. If you knew Egg, this would make so much sense, but the DM was calling him a playa for all the things he was doing to this 16-year-old girl that worked there. This is the DM. Keep that in mind. I need to make that very clear. The DM is laughing with Egg. Okay? The DM that is still there today working right now was laughing with Egg. So the DM did not care at all. Not one bit. He never did. But that was the first instance. He didn't care at all. He just laughed about it and told Egg not to make it obvious anymore, which was the DM's attempt at solving the problem. Just don't make it obvious that you're harassing her openly. Secretly harass her. So as you can imagine, after that, the harassment got way, way more severe. It would go as far as him touching her and demanding that she send pictures to him, claiming that the DM doesn't care what he does as long as we rank well in reserves and cards, basically. Which is how it was and how it still is. If you're ranking well, you are basically immortal. That's how that company works. That's how a lot of companies work, to be honest. So she did indeed send him pics and did basically everything she could to keep her job, which the pics were promptly put online by him. And he bragged to his buddies all the time, which they would promptly come in to the store and tell us because they were shady as hell. And he was friends with them because he's stupid. And he would basically brag and say that she was basically his slave and do whatever he wanted. At about this time, every single person besides Egg that worked in the store had about enough of it and decided to get together and call the RD directly, the regional director directly, because surely he'll do something, right? We emailed the RD begging him to do something, and he didn't even contact Egg about this. He just told our DM to transfer Melissa to another store, the neighboring store down the street. No action was taken against Egg at all. At all. Because he was ranking so good. He was one of the top stores in the country at the time. Can you imagine working anywhere in the US where this kind of issue would arise and corporate wouldn't tackle it immediately, or HR? Yeah, you can't, because it's unheard of. It does happen, but it's usually nipped in the bud. But all that matters is profit and numbers. Truly. As you can imagine, we were all heartbroken because she had become friends with all of us. She was like our friend group. And Egg got off completely scot-free in this situation, as per usual. Did you know Egg was never once written up for anything? He was the immortal butter golem. Max level. You'd have to have a raid party of at least 40 people to take him down. Could you imagine not being able to beat a raid boss for 10 years in a dungeon? That's Egg, the final boss. The only way I could beat him was to get transferred out and become a manager. But guess what? This is why I said stay to the end. The harassment didn't stop. It just kept going. Egg kept contacting Melissa and demanded he send her pics all the time, basically blackmailing her, saying that if she didn't send them, he would send all of the pics that he already had to everybody he knew, which he had already basically done. Melissa worked for the other store for about 6 more months and then ended up calling it quits. Someone who got their dream job and went through absolute hell only to find out that underneath the video game facade laid a truly terrible and evil, lawless place to work, where the manager had absolute power if they were ranking well, which has been described in previous videos. Melissa and I are actually still friends to this day, and sometimes we think back in conversations to how in the hell, how in the 9 divine, not the 8, the 9 divine, because of Talos, how did he not get fired? And we don't have an answer. We don't. He was eventually let go for time card fraud. Like, after everything that happened with me happened. He was there longer than me. Keep in mind, I can't stress this enough. I'm going to say it again. Okay? I'm saying it again. This man was in his late 30s and she was 16 years old at the time. 16, man. A truly disgusting human being. Our favorite degenerate. A living and breathing garbage disposal. Another tidbit, and I've said this before, but another tidbit. That DM, that district manager, and the regional director that let that all happen are still there right now. Working right now. As we speak. Doing the same things they've always done. Never seeing any consequences for their actions or nothing. Ever. If you rank well, then you're safe. That's the GameStop way. Protect the family, they said. Protect the family. Well, they did. In the worst way possible. People often ask me, why did no one call HR on Egg? Why did no one call HR? Well, at the time, back in those days when we were all young, we didn't even know HR was a thing. Like, we didn't know that was a thing. And our DM told us to never call HR or anybody from corporate, always come to him directly. Or else he'd have our ass. He'd have our ass, man. That DM is still there, and GameStop does absolutely nothing. GameStop has seen my videos, and they know that DM is still there, and they know what he's done, and they don't give a damn. That's just how it works. Melissa is now an adult, and she's extremely successful, so take solace in that. That's what I take solace in. If you ever see something like this happen, never be afraid to speak up. In our situation, nothing was done, but that doesn't mean yours won't. You deserve to feel safe at work. We all do. So that's my little Egg story today. Truly disgusting human being. Thank you all for checking me out. I love you guys. Brings warm feelings to my heart when you guys leave comments. You update myself. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to join our Discord. Join the Camelot 331 Discord. It is in the description. We are an official Discord partner now. Partner with Discord. It's official. It's official as hell. It's great. We have a lot of fun in there. Join it. I'll talk to you myself. I'll see you there. Until next time, get on it. Doggone it. Bye. That's all the money I have.